I take the contrarian view that reading college essay examples confuses more than clarifies. If you search on Amazon for college essay examples, almost 500 titles appear. There's a billion returns on Google and thousands of YouTube videos. I'm not brave enough to install TikTok to measure its college essay content coverage, but I imagine that there are tens of thousands of videos about college essay examples and tips. My essay example blog posts on tech submissions are by far my most popular content. However, I argue that the more essay examples that students and families read, the less informed they seem about how to build compelling essays of their own. Essay examples often amplify rather than reduce confusion at every stage of the process, from brainstorming to first draft to editing, and also deciding when it's time to submit. There are 5 significant issues with essay example books and blogs. First, examples reflect a highly self-selecting sample size. They almost always receive professional help from counselors like me, yet the book or the blog post often doesn't disclose whether the applicant received professional assistance. Essay examples are submitted by the kinds of ambitious students who permit content creators to share their essays. There's also a bit of a survivorship bias as well. The average essay example published online is realistically a top 1 or even a 0.1% submission, meaning it's the best out of 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 essays. And that wildly distorts how typical college essays usually appear. Even Harvard admits students with crappy essays. Many applicants gain admission despite their poorly written submissions. Many of the essay examples themselves are also not particularly strong, which I argue in other videos is because most college essays simply aren't very good. The essays that got a student in may actually be low quality, while their stellar academics, resume, and recommendation letters were what tipped them over the edge. Survivorship bias also means that the best essays you see that appear publicly are not the tens of thousands of mediocre ones that aren't bad enough to earn an admissions rejection. The reality is, nobody would read a book titled 50 Mediocre but Good Enough Essays for Harvard. Second, college admissions blogs, including mine, only provide the final draft. You don't see the brainstorming or other topics that they considered or discarded. College essay books rarely, if ever, detail the intermediate revision steps that polish essay turds into beautiful diamonds. Recreating intermediate revision stages is also almost impossible, although I've attempted to do this on my essay building stages that are offered in my Getting into Texas Colleges teachable course. Consequently, students read final essay submissions and they feel intimidated. They say things to me like, "Oh, I could never write something so unique and compelling." Third, essay examples almost always present a Common App submission without supplying any other context, like the transcript, resume, recommendation letters, demographics, first choice major, or other supplemental essays. Since holistic review implies that reviewers assess applications as a whole, attempting to separate an essay from essential context provides limited utility to the reader. It would honestly be a lot more helpful if content creators provided college applications that work, rather than focusing on the single Common App essay. I have attempted to recreate complete applications that do provide applicant backgrounds on my teachable course, and also student profile blogs on tech submissions. Next, reading college essays requires a level of detachment, humility, and precision that is almost impossible for any teenager or emotionally invested parent to attain. Reading too many examples almost always confuses rather than clarifies. I have a clients-only document PDF, 48 examples of the Tell Us Your Story essay topic. When I share that, students will zero in on 1 or 2 submissions and declare, "Oh, I can never write an essay like that." Either they take issue with an unconventional style that seems outside of their writing abilities or personality, or they lament to me, "Oh, but I don't have any significant obstacles or challenges." So instead, I reframe the discussion for them to identify a few examples that resonate with them stylistically and thematically. Nudging toward what appeals to them rather than what repels helps to identify possible opportunities for experimentation or finding similarities. Reading essay examples can be informative if the applicant identifies the underlying structure of an essay rather than the superficial styles and themes. For example, suppose they have a single prominent extracurricular that they wish to illustrate in their UT Austin "What are you most proud of?" short answer. In that case, it can help to find other supplements that also provide a single example, perhaps on a theme around volunteering or service or robotics or whatever it is that they have in mind. Moreover, main essay Common App examples that develop a single event or experience, like robotics or a memorable band competition, help provide a possible way to respond. Some students write main essays that begin in early childhood and lead up to the present, so reading similar examples can help students frame a more longitudinal approach rather than focusing on a narrow moment in time. The final misstep is that students feel tempted to read essay examples after they've completed and even submitted their own applications. That always causes anxiety, second-guessing, and analysis paralysis. Then, students will read problems, gaps, or not good enoughs into their work. A consequence of my highly personalized services means that, although you've completed your applications, they will have similarities and differences from my previous clients. They will always be slightly different, yet excellent, compared to what you might be reading on my blog or from that Tell Us Your Story PDF. That's because there are dozens of successful kinds of college essay submissions. And so that complicates reading those college essay examples. And that's why I suggest finding those submissions that seem to resonate best with you thematically or stylistically. I hope you've enjoyed this alternative take on whether and how to read college essay examples. If you want assistance on your college applications, I do provide essay feedback and revision services. Reach out to me directly at kevin@techsubmissions.com and complete the questionnaire in the information section of this video for a free email admissions consultation. Thanks, and I hope you have a great day.